Welcome to Community Connections. My name is Linda Williamson, and today we're talking with Burton. Welcome, Burton.
Thanks, Linda.
Can you tell us about yourself?
My name is Burton Phillips. I was born in Schreiber on December the 21st, 1931. I've lived here all my life. I've been married for 67 years. I'm 89 years old past now, and I hope to have a few more years. My wife is in very good health, and she's a very good woman, good cook. Maybe that's why I kept her for so long.
Were your grandparents and parents born in Schreiber?
No, my dad was born in Arnstein, Ontario, south of North Bay, and my mother was born in Prince Edward Island, and her sister's husband was a station agent at White River, so she come up there to work in the CPR restaurant, and my dad's sister was working for Mrs. Dillon in the CPR restaurant in Schreiber, and my dad come up to visit her, and he got a job on the railroad, and that's how the family ended up in Schreiber. I have one sister, Ruth. She was 7 years older than I am, and so I don't remember too much about her because she left to go to school in Toronto when I was about 7 years old. And so other than that, I went to Schreiber Public School, and Mr. Ermel was my favorite teacher, and Mrs. Marshall was another teacher I got along pretty good with. And Mr. Ermel, when he come to Schreiber, he always come down to the bulk plant and see who was around and what was going on with the kids that went to school, and it was really nice talking to them. And Bill Madge, who's still alive too, and we were at school together, and Bill was 90 the other day. I phoned him on his birthday, and there's only 4 of us that went to school together are still alive, so I feel pretty lucky.
What did you do for fun as a child in Schreiber?
What we done for fun in Schreiber? Well, that's an easy question to ask. We played, in the summertime, we played baseball on the field across the street from my dad's house, and all the East End. Girls, boys, didn't matter which were. In the winter, we played hockey. We built shacks all over the place, which you don't see kids doing today. And a little lake up on the mountain, well, I must have made 100, maybe 500 trips up there when we were kids. And a long story short, we were skidooing, and they built the skidoo trail up across Little Lake. So Marina and I used to go up there a lot when we were kids. So anyway, she's going to kill me for saying this. But anyway, we went skidooing across. I stopped, I took off my helmet. I said, "Take off your helmet, Mo." "Why?" I said, "Take it off." So she took it off. I give her a big kiss. She said, "What's all that about?" "Well," I said, "we used to have to walk up the mountain to do this." So anyway, we had a good laugh about it, and away we went.
Aw, that's so sweet.
And I had 4 children. Marina and I had 4 children. 1 boy, 3 girls. They're all healthy, and they're all still. One of them still lives here. Sanders in Thunder Bay, and Lynn lives down on near on the Trent water system anyway. And Susan's in Kelowna, and Robert's here in Schreiber. He's retired now. Got grandchildren all over, great-grandchildren. It's nice to see them and that. We have had a very lucky life. I've ended up working for CP Rail. I worked there, and I done lots of odd jobs and carpenter work and all that in my lifetime. And I worked for a guy by the name of Guy Arpin. I worked on the railroad, a night shift in the yard engine, and go to Thunder Bay and pick up a load of cement blocks and bring them down to the rec center at Terrace Bay. And there was a young fella, big, tall young fella by the name of Bob Krause. And we used to take Bob down there to help us unload. Well, you can imagine Bob standing on the deck of the truck and the blocks, and these little short Italians trying to get them down. And he said, boss guy, he says, don't you bring that guy down there, that giant. He says, he piled a block too high. Bob, he laughed like hell. He was only about 15 years old at the time. Oh, God. Yeah, poor Bob. Anyway, this guy come up one night. I was helping put a roof on Dougie May's house, and this guy asked me if I was interested in the future. I had mixed emotions when he said that, and I said, well, look, this guy hasn't got much money, and I said, I got to help him with the roof until dark, and I told him where I lived if you want to talk to me. So he come down and explained that they were looking for an agent for Imperial Oil. And I said, gee, I'd like that. So anyway, that's how I started. And wasn't much business the first little while, but ended up a very lucrative business, and I enjoyed doing it because I enjoyed meeting the people. And Heron Bay, Marathon, Manitowodge, Long Lac, I hauled turbo fuel, I hauled everything. And, a lot of nice people I met, and people I still are friends with.
What are your favorite memories of Schreiber?
Playing hockey, curling, how friendly the people are here. It makes me mad when I go to town just not very far away from here. Nobody talks to you or nothing. Where in Schreiber, whether they know you or not, they talk to you. And I really, especially as I'm getting older, I appreciate that. And just the other day, I don't know who the gentleman was. I was shoveling the driveway, the snowplow had gone by, and he come along with a plow on his truck. And he motioned, get out of the way. So anyway, I got out of the way, and he plowed where the snowplow had pushed in, and away he went. I don't know who the guy was or nothing, but that had only happened in Schreiber.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
The community is like that.
Yeah.
They're very helpful.
Yeah. And when I was in 1970, I had a very serious back operation, and the people that come to visit me and help me out and help my wife out, you can't say enough for them. And it's the way it is in Schreiber, no matter who it is.
We take care of our own. I think that's somebody had said that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're family or not.
Yeah.
You are within the community.
Yeah.
You're a family.
Yeah. And delivering oil, I really like my job because I met so many people, and they were always 99% of them were real nice people, and I got along good with them. And I can always remember one lady there. I said, you don't have to phone for your oil. I'll bring your oil when you need it. And she said, well, how do you know? I said, I know how to figure it out when you need oil. And after about 2 or 3 trips there over the winter with the oil, and she said, I don't know how you done it, but the bills were within $5.
Oh,
and it was all done by temperature, night and morning. And, but I like my job, and I met lots of good people. And I won 4 or 5 trips away to the Caribbean and to Hawaii and Toronto, and go to Toronto to a meeting. They throw you the tickets to the hockey game. You sit about 2 rows from the ice.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any hobbies, or did you volunteer?
I had lots of hobbies. I volunteered. I looked after the bar at the curling rink for a good number of years. Pete Doig, Elmer Nemi, and myself, we run the bar there, and we made a lot of money for the curling club. And we had a lot of fun, a lot of good people again. And I really enjoyed curling. I wasn't much of a hockey player. I tried to play goal, and I wasn't very good. They called me Siv. But I like curling, and I done very well curling. I was half an inch from representing Northwestern Ontario in the mixed playdowns. My wife and I, and George Riley and Frankie Kakamo. And we had a lot of fun. And,
what kind of hobbies do you do now?
Now? Well, I still putter around. I like carpenter work is my hobby, most of it. I built a lot of kitchen cupboards before I was in the oil business for people in Schreiber, and done a lot of carpenter work. I built my house over on Winnipeg Street. I remodeled the one where Roger Trombley lives. I built a camp at White Sand Lake. I built Frankie Cackamo and Gino's camp at White Sand Lake. I was the boss there on the construction, and we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun at White Sand Lake. It was on Sundays. You'd say to your neighbor, "Well, what do you have for supper?" "Oh, we're having chicken." "What do you have?" "We're having roast pork." "We're having something else," and we'd pool it all together. And one day Joe Cackamo come along and he said, "Look at all you rich buggers." He said, "Your hamburgers and hot dogs." He said, "No wonder you got money." He said, "I got a 10-pound roast of pork in the oven." Oh, so this once, twice. I said, if he says it once more, we're going to go get that roast of pork. So he said, so we went, he did. So Ray Sisson drove me down. I knocked on the door and nobody answered. "Oh, gee, he has something cooking." Went over to the oven, took the roast pan out. We took it back to Gillard's camp, cut it all up, all outside, else ate it. When Joe was leaving, we gave him the dirty roast pan to take home. So we had a lot, it was all in good fun. All in good fun.
Do you play golf?
Yep, I play golf. I still play. We were at the golf course, my wife and I, in August, last August, and the guy yells, "Phillips, don't move." He said, "I want to talk to you." So anyway, I waited for a couple of seconds. I put the clubs in the car, and this guy comes down, and Burton, he says, "How old are you in Rain?" So we told him. "Oh, geez," he says, "I lost the bet again." He says, "You and Harold Gillard are the two oldest here curling, or golfing. But life is only what you make it, and if you don't get out and do something, and you could die sitting on the chair watching TV. You got to get out and do something." A lot of people go by and I'm out and cleaning the driveway and that, and they all stop and tell me, "Burton, you shouldn't be doing that." I said, "Look, I've done it all my life," and I asked the doctor about it, and he said, "If you've done it all your life, keep doing it."
We had, and I forgot to even mention this to you, but it was like an object to share. If you had something from the past that you thought people would be interested in.
I have, my friend was in the Royal Canadian Air Force during the Second World War, and I have a slate book from all the slates over Germany, and in the thing there's a button off his uniform, and if you look at it, oh, it's a compass. Huh. And you look at another thing, I've got 3 of them, and one is left-hand thread. You got to screw it left-handed to get it open, and it tells you, because when they were flying, they knew where they were at all times, and if they landed or shot down, they knew where, safest place to try and get to. And I was reading in a book one day on the flights, and there was this fella from Collingwood, Ontario, and I thought, gee. So it was snowing and blowing that day, and I thought, I get on the phone. So Marie got on the computer and found out the name, and how many, there was 10 of them, people with that name. So I phoned, and the last lady I got a hold of, she was real old. She said it was my nephew, and he was a pilot, and after the war, he opened a flying school, and he said he crashed and got killed in 1950. So
Oh, no.
it was pretty sad. After all those flights, he was Bob's pilot for most of the flights that they went. And if anybody wants to see it, I'm no hesitant to come to the house and I'll show it to them.
Awesome. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you've kept throughout the years that is important to you?
Yeah. My dad was worked in the bush when he was a kid. And I got his broad axe and his adze and his axe, and I still got that. Nobody's going to get that from me. It's old, and it's still in good shape, and it's still sharp. And but a lot of people, I had 5 young people in my garage when I moved from Sand Lake back to Schreiber, and I said to them, I had the 3 things. I said, "Any of you guys know what they are?" "No, haven't got a clue. Haven't got a clue." They didn't know what they were, so I had to explain to them.
How have things changed throughout the years? I know that you worked for Esso when you would be delivering home oil.
Yeah.
How has that changed?
Well, the oil business has gone for a loop right now. The government sort of buggered that up. I mean, I delivered oil for over 30 years. I saw one oil tank leak, and now they want them changed every 5 years, and they want big bucks to change them. So the oil business has gone for a loop, and propane has more or less taken over. And I haven't had much to do with propane, only I had a propane furnace at my camp when I lived out at White Sand Lake. And back to hot water heating system, electric, where I live in Schreiber now. But I would say and people I hauled coal when I was 16, 17 years old for Craigro. And a lot of people burned coal in them days. Then they changed to oil, and it's just progress. You can't stop progress. And lots of people my age, oh, they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that, but you've got to keep going with the times.
What do you think will be the next source of fuel?
Well, I would hope that it may come to sunlight, and some smart guy will invent something that will harness the sun's rays to heat.
Do you have any stories about Schreiber that you'd like to share?
I was coming from the mine with a oil truck, and when I went to the mine, there was a fellow had his four-way flashers on, and he had his trunk open on his car, and I come back from the mine, and I looked, his four-way flashers are going, and I thought, geez, that guy's gone fishing, and he's going to come back, and the battery's going to be dead in his car, and the window's half down, I can go and shut it off. So I pulled on the wrong side of the road at the bottom of Lily Bay Hill, get out of the truck, and as I'm getting down out of the truck, I look, the guy's got no head. Holy shit, I said, well, and I'm trying to get back in the truck, and I'm looking, and Roger Trombley's wife was walking on the opposite side of the road. I yelled at her, no, I'm not coming over, and she didn't see him, but anyway, I went to the police station, and I saw enough of it then. So I got Don Burton, and he says, well, you got to come with me and show me where it is. So I see it all again.
Oh, no.
The fella I found out the true story behind it all. He had, from Winnipeg, and he had gone down to southern Ontario to get a job. And he told his daughter if he didn't get a job, he was going to shoot himself. And he didn't get the job, and that's where he ran out of gas, and he shot himself. And
so
I
sad.
saw that poor guy on my night time, and I'd see him, visual that for a long time after.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But usually you see a car accident on the highway, you expect to see something, but not the way that was.
Now, I remember a story that you were saying that was a happier one about a person that was pulled over. With a bunch of older ladies. You had to change their tire or something. And they had gotten a hold of SO or something to say...
Oh, yeah, Steel River Bridge, okay. I was coming back from Marathon with the oil truck. And at Steel River Bridge, there's two old ladies. And they're standing there and they're looking, they got a flat tire. So anyway, I looked, opened the trunk and took the bare tire out. And I looked for the wheel wrench. Oh, there it is. So I put on the nuts. It don't fit. So anyway, I go back to my truck and I have a 3/8 socket set there, and I got the spark plug wrench fit the nuts on the wheel. Well, I got it off. And I got it back on. I told him, now you go to the Texaco station at Terrace Bay, Garth Morris, and I said, he'll fix your tire and that. And so that was all it was said. About 3 weeks later, the sales rep for Imperial Oil come, he said, I got a letter about you. I said, oh my God, what now? So anyway, he pulled it out and he read it to me. And these ladies had sent Imperial Oil. They took the name off the truck and wrote a letter to Imperial Oil, how courteous I was and how good I was to them and all that.
Aww.
It was sort of nice to get that, because usually you got the opposite. Yeah.
How important is the library to the community and to yourself?
I think the library is very good here. I said there's lots of things, like I'm not a reader myself, but if I want something photostated, I come down and see Linda, and she's always was very polite to me. And no, I think they need a library in town, and I have donated a bunch of old stuff my wife when we cleaned out, and we give it to the library, and people want to read it, it's fine. If they don't, it's fine too. So,
how has COVID affected your life?
Well, it's really affected because I like to get out. I like to go and visit with people, and this has changed that all. We can't go for coffee. We always went to the Robin's Donuts and had coffee and told some wild stories, and some were good and some were bad. And my daughter in Thunder Bay, she was, doesn't want us to come because she said, I don't want you to come and blame me if you died. So anyway, we've been sort of stranded, but I bought a car last March, and I put on 40,000 kilometers on. I think it should go by itself up and down every street in Schreiber and Terrace Bay and Rossport and Marathon, Nippigan. But no, it's really, I don't know, it's got to end pretty soon, I hope.
The vaccines are now available in our community. Is it something that you've thought about?
Yeah, I'm going to go as soon as they tell me. They said that within the next 6 weeks that seniors will get their shots, and I'll be first in line if I can get there. But it's got to be controlled. And when the Great Flu went around in 1918, I lost an uncle in White River. He died with that. And I hope nobody dies in Schreiber with it, or anywhere, really. It's sad, very sad. And I'll be right there to get the vaccine, and so will my wife be. And
how do you envision the future?
I think the future is pretty bright. I don't know. It's only what you're going to make it. You can't. If people get depressed or that, well. But once this corona's finished, I think things are going to rebound. I feel sorry for the small business guy that has to shut down, and especially the restaurants. They have a whole freezer full of food, and if they don't sell it, they got their money tied up, and after so long, it's no good. And I don't know. I hope it ends pretty soon.
I agree. Thank you so much for coming and talking with me and sharing your memories with us. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed doing it. Yeah.
Thank you for watching.